We begin tonight with breaking news. One person has died after a house fire near I-10 and Wurzbach Road. You can see here the flames earlier tonight were intense. The night team's Avery Everett is live out at that scene for us this evening. Avery, the fire's been put out at this point, but what have we learned so far about this investigation?
Well, Myra, that fire call around just before 9 o'clock was not the first call to this home on Chartwell Drive, just off of Wurzbach and I-10 today. We're told from the San Antonio Fire Department and the San Antonio Police Department that multiple calls were made to this location across the day, ultimately leading to smoke being seen outside of the house, that fire, and then a man being found dead inside. So I do want to show you that this is going to be a long night for firefighters. I mean, they are still investigating actively the garage. You can see flashlights are being used over burn parts. Our photojournalist that was out here just after 9 o'clock, Everett Allen, I want you to see some of the video that he shot earlier. I mean, you could literally see flames shooting through the top of this garage. He says that it spread over to portions of the house to the left. Again, this is at the end of the cul-de-sac on Chartwell Drive. So let's go back to exactly what we know. We really just got an update from officials here on the scene within the last 10-15 minutes. So we were told one person was found dead inside. 3 dogs were taken out safely, but they're really not sure on what was going on. I mean, one firefighter here was treated for heat exhaustion. Only one house had significant damage, and that is the house where this fire started, so it did not spread to neighboring homes. But it looks like the garage appears to be the origin. Like I said, there have been multiple calls to this location today. The call they got earlier was for a person who started a fire, but they're not able to confirm if that person was barricaded inside. That was the initial report we got from the San Antonio Fire Department over email, was that there was a barricaded suspect. That was ultimately the man who was found dead. But the officials on the scene here said that they are still actively investigating. Again, minor damage to other neighboring homes in this area, but we don't know how that man who was found dead has died at this point. The manner and cause will be determined by the Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office within the next couple of hours or even the next couple of days. So as soon as we learn those details about what led up to all of this and what those calls were for earlier in the day, we'll keep you updated on KSAT.com. Myra, I'll send it back to you.
Questions we will continue to follow. Avery, thank you. $1 million worth of cocaine seized during a traffic stop on I-35. New Braunfels police said the stop happened in the main lanes of the highway Friday afternoon. They found 44 pounds of cocaine in a hidden compartment in the floor of the vehicle. The driver and the passenger of that vehicle, who are both from Del Rio, were detained and transferred into the custody of Homeland Security. 21-year-old Maria Rojas and 47-year-old Gustavo Licea Ferengrino face charges of drug possession. A former Bexar County constable in District 2, a deputy constable there, pleaded no contest today to official oppression and was sentenced to 24 months probation. In January of 2024, Maximiliano Marquez stopped a woman who showed a Cuban passport. He didn't tell dispatch or turn on his body camera, which are both required. During that stop, Marquez touched the woman inappropriately inside her car. She was never given a ticket, but later got harassing text messages about that stop. He lost his police license and can never work as a peace officer again. The district attorney's office now wants anyone else who might have had a similar experience to come forward and report it to local police. 6 months after the Duke Road wildfire, scars are still visible there. Dozens of people are still without a place to live, and they say that help has been hard to come by. From the damage out there now, you'd think that this fire burned yesterday. Again, the night team's Avery Everett first went out there in March when that fire started, and she followed up with that community tonight.
So, Mr. Shelley, what is this then? What's in here?
A shirt.
And that's, you were doing laundry this morning or something, or yesterday, or?
Yesterday, yeah.
Celestino Acosta washes his clothes outside, but not because he has a choice.
This stupid hose, I bought this hose.
It's through this wiring of hoses that he's able to get water after losing everything 6 months ago in the Duke Road fire.
This was home.
His house was one of 40 structures that burned to the ground in early March just south of 1604.
Pages of books that were burned out here you can practically still read. Most of the debris is untouched. That's why this community says it feels forgotten.
I lost everything.
The last time we were out here, it was still smoking.
I come here every day. I come out here, I pray, something happens.
I first met Luis Narvaez just days after the fire. His property on Monday looks pretty much the same as the day it did back in March. He says support from the state and the county has been slim, and he's still being billed.
So you got a SAWS bill and a CPS Energy bill today.
Yes.
We learned Monday the state did file for federal assistance, but only to help put out the fire. Now, that was granted, but a spokesperson with the Texas Division of Emergency Management says there were not sufficient estimated damages to meet FEMA's requirements for individual assistance.
I want to show you where my house was.
Bexar County did help with temporary housing and food assistance for the first month, but Cheryl Portman says help has been hard to find since.
How hard have the last 6 months been on you?
Very hard. Very hard.
Where do you find hope, strength?
Man upstairs.
Faith is what these families are leaning on with nothing left.
That was our Avery Everett reporting once again. We did also learn today from the Texas Division of Emergency Management that families impacted by the Duke Road fire can fill out a damage assessment online to get help from the state. We have a link for that posted on KSAT.com. A man who survived a shooting by a San Antonio police officer 3 years ago is once again under arrest. Eric Cantu was arrested Friday for assault. Police say that he stomped on a woman's head at a gas station near Roosevelt and 410 about a year ago. According to the affidavit, witnesses saw him pull the woman out of a car by her hair, then punch, kick, and stomp on her head before leaving. The woman told police she was screaming while Cantu shook her, and he told her to shut up before hitting her. The car was linked back to Cantu, and the victim ID'd him in a photo lineup. Now, Cantu was a teenager when he was shot in a McDonald's parking lot by former San Antonio police officer James Brennan. That happened back in 2022. Brennan saw Cantu's car and thought it was a car that got away from him the day before. So he opened Cantu's car door and fired a gun as Cantu tried to drive off. Cantu was on life support and hospitalized for nearly 2 months. Brennan now faces trial next month for aggravated assaults by a public servant. If convicted, he could get life in prison. Cantu's initial charges from the Brennan shooting were quickly dismissed, but since then he's faced several other charges. A theft and a hit-and-run charge were also dismissed, but he's currently on probation for 2 separate cases of evading arrest in a vehicle. Now, we asked San Antonio police and the DA's office why this latest charge took almost a year to file, but they declined to comment. SAWS has taken a step to collect unpaid bills by placing its first municipal utility lien on an apartment complex. Oaks on Bandera Apartments on the northwest side owes more than $93,000 for water and sewer services, according to SAWS. SAWS says it can shut off the water because of unpaid debt, which also violates the city's apartment inspection program. The lien, which was approved by the City Council earlier this year, is meant to press landlords to pay up so tenants don't suffer. Right now, SAWS tracks over 6,000 apartments, and 358 are at risk of disconnection for bills more than 60 days late. Those properties owe a total of about $2.6 million to the utility. A tentative trial date has been set for the Olmos Park man accused in his wife's murder. Brad Simpson could face a judge and jury beginning February 13th of 2026. He was back in court today following issues accessing evidence in this case.
I was able to access the physical internal hard drive that got turned over, so I have everything I was able to extract everything from that particular device. I'm confident that I have everything that Ms. Sandoval in the DA's office has. I'm less confident about law enforcement, but I'm confident enough that we have what is necessary to proceed with setting this matter for trial.
That was Brad Simpson's defense attorney, Stephen Gilmore, today. He reassured the judge that they will be ready for trial. Brad Simpson's wife, Suzanne Simpson, was last seen nearly a year ago on October 6th in Alamo Heights. Investigators say the couple got into a fight prior to Suzanne's disappearance. An arrest warrant affidavit previously revealed that surveillance footage showed Brad Simpson driving with 3 large trash bags, a heavy-duty trash can, and a large, bulky item wrapped in a blue tarp the day after his wife's disappearance. So far, Suzanne Simpson's remains have never been found. A violent robbery at a West Side gas station. This happened on Highway 90 near Loop 410. San Antonio police say a man with a knife demanded money from the register. When the clerk refused, though, police say the man jumped over the counter and stabbed the clerk several times in the back. The suspect then grabbed several items before running away. The clerk was taken to a hospital. We're still working to figure out the severity of his injuries. Autopsies on 2 children found dead in far West Bexar County this weekend will help decide what happens to their mother. 6-year-old Savani Stevenson and 3-year-old Miani Islar were found dead Saturday near Culebra and Gulm Road. Their mother was arrested, but Bexar County Sheriff's investigators say that they have questions about her story, especially whether the kids died from being left in a hot car. That's because Sheriff Javier Salazar said the mother claimed the kids died in her car, but deputies found them inside the home.
The inconsistencies that I'm seeing in the story and in some of the evidence, we're just not prepared to say that that's exactly what happened.
Neighbors have already started leaving pink and blue balloons at the home with the children's names and ages to honor them. We've learned the oldest, Savani, was a first grader at Reed Elementary School, which has counselors available to support students dealing with this loss. Now investigators are waiting on those autopsies to decide what comes next. A commander with the San Antonio Park Police Department has been placed on administrative leave. He's accused of hitting a car and then leaving the scene. According to SAPD, Lieutenant Timothy Packard was driving a city vehicle when he hit that car with 4 people inside near Walsham Road in Loop 410. A relative of one of the people in that car told KSAT it appeared that Packard was in a rush. According to police, Packard told investigators that he did not know he hit another car. It's unclear whether this happened while he was on duty. So far, the officer is not facing any criminal charges. All right, let's get a first check of the forecast and new week. New round of rain chances to talk about, Adam.
Yeah, the rain chances get a bit of a bump as we get into Wednesday, so midweek rain chances, and that's our primary headline this evening and even going forward this week. Scattered rain likely on Wednesday. The timing's going to vary across south central Texas. We'll get into that in more detail in a bit. Could be some thunderstorms too embedded within the action. Can't rule out 1 to 2 inches of rain for some neighborhoods, but not most. Most of us will see less than that. And a cool front is causing this, meaning lower humidity later this week, especially by Thursday, and then cooler mornings on the way. Morning temperatures take a bit of a dive compared to the upper 70s, mid to upper 70s where we have been. And tomorrow morning, 77, Wednesday, 78 in the morning. It's going to feel a little fall-like by Friday morning and thereafter, with morning temperatures back in the mid-60s. A look at the newest high-resolution futurecast for some of that rain in just a few minutes.
We will baby step our way to fall. That's fine, Adam. Thank you. Tonight, a heads up about tomorrow. Jimmy Kimmel Live is returning to KSAT tomorrow night after being off the air for nearly the last week. In a statement released by ABC, the network decided to reinstate the late night show after having several conversations with the host, Jimmy Kimmel. Their decision comes after ABC suspended the show indefinitely following comments that Kimmel made about Charlie Kirk's assassination in a monologue. The show will return to KSAT tomorrow night at 10:35 p.m. after the Nightbeat. New tonight from the White House, President Trump making a major announcement regarding the link between acetaminophen or Tylenol use in pregnant women and autism in children. Health experts, though, pushing back, saying that no known medical studies have proven that the use among pregnant women is a cause for autism. ABC's Melissa Adon with the latest.
Tonight, alongside the Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., President Trump announcing changes to the use of acetaminophen during pregnancy, linking the use to autism.
Basically, commonly known as Tylenol, during pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good.
The president says the Food and Drug Administration will begin notifying physicians immediately.
Strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary. That's, for instance, in cases of extremely high fever, that you feel you can't tough it out, you can't do it.
Major medical groups insisting Tylenol is the safest option and that the risks of untreated fever during pregnancy can be serious. The maker of Tylenol pushing back, calling it the safest pain reliever option for pregnant women.
Look, we want to emphasize that the decision is still between a patient and their doctor. And so we want doctors to have the information. The FDA has put out a memo to all U.S. doctors.
HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. earlier this year said he wanted to find a root cause to autism by this month. Leading medical groups claim there have been dozens of large studies over the decades. None say acetaminophen causes autism and that it remains a safe option to treat headaches, fevers, and pain. The FDA has also stated there is no clear evidence that appropriate use of the drug elevates the risk of neurological disorders. Doctors now concerned pregnant women will refuse any medical relief for pain or fever, which could increase the risk of birth defects. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
It's still ahead here on the Nightbeat, a local group teaching a deep tradition of dance to a new generation. We'll take you there. Plus, a San Antonio woman qualified for city-funded home repairs, but now she says she regrets that decision. We'll explain why. Still ahead. A San Antonio woman qualified for city-funded home repair and roofing programs, but now she says she regrets ever applying. Norma Ramirez walked KSAT Investigates through her Northeast Side home, where a city-appointed contractor did some extensive work back in 2023. Records show the project was closed despite issues with the repairs. City officials say they tried to correct the problems, but that Ramirez became belligerent. She tells a different story.
Every time they came and checked, it was a very brief assessment.
Tuesday on the Nightbeat, a closer examination of those renovations and what two independent inspectors had to say about the work done to that home. All right, look outside with live cam here tonight. We're talking about those rain chances, and it seems like there's kind of a sweet spot for when we could have the best odds at them.
Yeah, and that's Wednesday. So basically right smack dab in the middle of the week, even midday Wednesday. When I mean middle of the work week, I mean it. And even lingering into Wednesday evening and Wednesday night, I think we have some of that activity. And it's all a cool front that's going to give us this little boost of rain
cool
chances.
Front.
Okay, don't get too excited.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry to temper your
I continue
expectations.
to wait patiently.
Yes. Now, we will have a subtle change in temperatures, but it's not going to be significant. But you will notice some changes. More than anything, 60% chance of showers and a few thunderstorms Wednesday. And then odds drop off a little bit as we go through Wednesday night. But we could even see some lingering showers into the morning commute on Thursday. There is that possibility. It's just that 30% chance right now. So basically the main confidence is during the day Wednesday, but it's going to vary. Here's the front. Right now, just dropping into the Panhandle. It's going to be moving through North Texas tomorrow. Makes it basically into the Hill Country Edwards Plateau by early Wednesday morning at sunrise. And then midday, early afternoon, hit San Antonio. But this is not one of those cold fronts that kind of slaps you in the face when it arrives. You're not going to notice it like right away, with the wind picking up, temperatures drop big. No. Not that kind of a cool front. This is just a weak one. And we'll have some subtle changes temperature-wise. But more than anything, we could see some of those showers lingering into Thursday morning. Here's the high-resolution Futurecast, which usually handles these situations pretty well, but I think it also underdoes the rain chance for Wednesday night and on into Thursday morning. So notice Wednesday morning, it's up in the Hill Country by about the noon hour, give or take, obviously, in and around Highway 90 and then San Antonio metro area, and then point southward into the afternoon and early evening. It's all going to be dependent on how quickly that front moves southward and when exactly it gets to your neighborhood. But the slower the front moves, the better that would be for rain chances, because it could prolong the chance of rain. Now, I know this model is showing all the action far south of town by 7 p.m. It wouldn't surprise me if we still have some development elsewhere where you're not seeing it on that map. Overall rainfall potential, it's the typical situation where it's not going to be equal opportunity. And these are just some computer rough estimates for some of the luckiest areas of about 1 to 2 inches. And just like all rain events around here, it's going to be a case of the haves and the have-nots. Most of us will see less than an inch. Some folks could have more than 2 inches, which would lead to some localized street flooding, especially later in the day on Wednesday, possibly even the Thursday morning commute, but more so Wednesday evening commute, potential to impact travel. And then the off chance of hail within a few thunderstorms. Could get up to the size of quarters, but that's really the exception. Same with gusty winds, 40 to 60 miles per hour. The exception, not the norm with this type of setup. We've got that marginal atmosphere for severe weather. So just enough instability and ingredients for maybe one or two strong to severe storms. 95 today, the average high 89. We're going to be near and below that average in the days ahead, at least for a couple of days. Here's the problem. Dew points so high. Low to mid 70s for dewies. That's going to change behind this cool front, but you're not really going to notice it until late Thursday and then Friday through the weekend. The mugginess is going to be completely gone. Tomorrow morning, we're in the 70s. By noon, we're at 90 degrees, 95 the high temperature. And for the most part, mid 90s all across the board, but 100 closer to the Rio Grande, and then upper 80s for a few days, Thursday and Friday, Myra.
All right. Thank you, Adam. Okay, Larry, for our game of the week, Alamo Heights is headed to Bernie.
And last year when these two played at Alamo Heights, it was a very entertaining football game. We're hoping for the same thing this year. Alamo Heights at Bernie, it is our game of the week for week 5. We're going to hear from both sides coming up. And we've also got the best of big game coverage, some highlights from week 4 coming up. Our game of the week Friday night, we'll see Alamo Heights Mules at the Bernie Greyhounds in a District 13-5 AD2 contest. And we start with the visiting Mules and their 4-0 record. So far this season, they've beaten Seguin 70-35, Churchill 54-24, Canyon 42-28, and Clemens last week 33-30. That tight game at Clemens is what the Mules needed before facing Bernie.
I thought that was extremely important. You know, we needed a game with adversity like that because those are the kind of games we're going to have in the playoffs. We all came out, ready to go, and we were ready to stay in the game, and that was great.
I think it was really important because you're playing teams that will probably be bigger than the teams that we're going to play in district, but it'll help us with playoffs. Like that last game will help us in like a deep playoff run if we get there.
It's super important. You know, it was a really close matchup. I think we played a team that gave us adversity and gave us challenge, and that'll really prepare us for district.
Bernie enters 3-1, falling to Piper in their opener 35-28, and then rebounding with wins versus Laredo United, Medina Valley, and last week topping Class 6A East Central 49-13. Beating the Hornets before taking on the Mules in district is a good thing for the Greyhounds.
I think it was huge. I mean, we beat a pretty good team. They were great. I thought we came in really hot. We had a great practice, had a great game. Just overall, defense was phenomenal. Offense was great. I think that was just really helped us boost into the Alamo Heights game.
I mean, it's big. It brings up our team a lot, showing us that we can do whatever, really. And we know this upcoming team, they're going to be a challenge, but we're up for it, and we're ready for them.
Coming off East Central, it's huge to come together as a team, especially playing away, and be able to trust each other and do our jobs and show that when we do our jobs, we have good outcomes.
It was really important. Last year we went against Heights with the loss on our belt, and I think that kind of just brought us down a little bit. It was a good little confidence boost for our team, especially playing a 6A team like that, and they're known to be a pretty good team.
All right, Alamo Heights at Bernie is our game of the week, Friday night at 7. It's time now for the best of big game coverage from week 4. Always a fun segment to put together thanks to all the talented high school football players that we have in the area. Best catch, Piper hosting Wagner. Warriors quarterback Chase Lyons rolls out to his right, and he's going to throw the ball right at Adam the Photog to wide out Carson Lacombe for an incredible catch, and then he fights in for a 38-yard touchdown. Look again in slow motion, pretty spiral and thrown where only Lacombe can get the ball. He does. That's awesome. Piper wins 48-13. Best run, Sotomayor versus O'Connor. Wildcats lead 21-10 when Cameron Grady gets the rock. He sees the entire field, moves to open space, and finds a seam up the sideline. The officials say he stepped out of bounds. Well, we disagree. Sotomayor scored soon after to win 42-16. All right, let's move on to best play. Edison taking on Memorial. Golden Bears on the 1-yard line. They take a page out of the Eagles playbook. A tush push to get quarterback Jacob Gonzalez into the end zone, but Memorial won the game by a final of 19-13. Best game, 2 favorites to win District 28 6A went head-to-head Saturday night in front of a full house. Harlan and state-ranked Brennan. The Hawks defense shut out Brennan 17-0 in the first half, and Harlan would roll to a 31-14 victory in their district opener. A statement win for the Hawks, that's for sure. The latest on CeeDee Lamb's ankle injury coming up after the break. Dallas Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb could miss 3 to 4 weeks with a high ankle sprain suffered in the boys' 31-14 loss at the Bears yesterday. And right guard Tyler Booker, a rookie, is looking to miss 4 to 6 weeks with a high ankle sprain as well. Team owner Jerry Jones told the media today that both will miss games and that injured reserve is a consideration. Here's Coach Shoddy today on Lamb's injury and if there's any second guessing in using Lamb as a runner from the backfield, the play he was injured on.
Yeah, gonna miss some time, but CeeDee is a guy that heals quickly, and he will do everything in his power to get back. But it does look like he'll miss a little bit of time.
You say miss a little bit of time. What's the time frame there?
Yeah, I'm not going to put a timetable on it. Probably unlikely he plays this week, but we'll see. No, absolutely not. I mean, you call passes and runs for people and try to get them the ball, and it's unfortunate, but we're going to still, call quarterback runs with Dak at times, and you hate to see it happen, but no second thoughts.
Cowboys will host the Packers Sunday night at 7:20. He was enjoying some sort of candy or something.
Yeah, I could tell.
Right?
A little Tic Tac, maybe?
Yeah. Certs, I don't know.
Certs?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of certs in a while. Certs? Right? Certs?
Yeah. I don't know. Lifesavers are for sure, right?
There you go.
Okay.
I kind of want a cert. Thanks, Larry. We'll be right back. As criminal domestic violence cases move through the system, we're getting answers for survivors on what's taking so long. Over the past couple of weeks, Courtney Friedman has been digging into each part of that process. It started with the backlog at the district attorney's office, and now we move on to the court system, which has its own backlogs. Today, Courtney breaks down the felony court numbers, talking to a longtime judge about what's going right and what still needs to happen.
A reported domestic violence case goes from law enforcement to the district attorney's office to the courts. Once the person is indicted, the case is assigned to a judge, like 379th Criminal District Court Judge Ron Ronhell.
I am a felony district court judge, so we handle felony cases.
Felony and misdemeanor family violence cases are handled differently, but both had cases pile up during the pandemic.
And because you can only try one trial a week, with 30 new cases coming in weekly, there's only so much that a court can do.
On the felony side, it finally seems to be getting better.
Each of these numbers represents a survivor that is very scared in the process.
It's one thing to say the system is improving. It's one thing to say the numbers are coming down, but that doesn't make a difference to that one person who's a victim of domestic violence.
In the 10 felony courts combined, the total family violence case backlog is 849 cases. In 2024, it was 1,162. That's about a 27% decrease in just a year. And court administrators broke this down even further for us, listing cases that have been pending for more than 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years. So for cases that have been pending for more than 1 year since indictment, the total for felony cases is at 174. That's down from 184 last year. For cases pending for over 2 years, right now there are 52 cases, down from 104 last year. And for cases pending 3 years, there are 33, and that's down from 62 last year.
While the numbers are dropping, any backlog is delaying justice and safety for survivors. Like many people we've heard from, Ron Hell said it's all about resources, citing a statewide study.
This answer about a year ago telling us in Bexar County that we are lacking 2.7 judges to maintain the current caseload among district courts. County courts are lacking 3 judges, so that's really 6 judges total.
He said the county has actually been receptive to that.
They've advised us that they're willing to pay for courts, new courts to come online. The issue is there's no space.
Is there a remedy for that?
There's talks that we've had on moving the jury room downstairs and put in some more courts there. There is courtroom space in these courthouses. The county just needs to do it, right?
The county confirmed to KSAT there have been discussions about the need for additional space, but there are no specific details or plans laid out yet.
That was our Courtney Friedman reporting. Now, we want you to know that if you or someone you know is in an abusive relationship, there is help available. We've compiled a long list of resources on KSAT.com/domestic violence. You can get there by scanning this QR code right here on your screen. Still ahead here on the Nightbeat, celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, how a group of local Folklorico dancers is sharing their story with a new generation. We asked and you delivered. San Antonio's top businesses, from restaurants to dog groomers to plumbing and air conditioning services, they've been named in SA Picks 2025. We received thousands of nominations across nearly 100 categories. The votes are in, and we have a full list of the winners up right now on KSAT.com. Just look for this article on our homepage. The 12th annual Head for the Cure 5K is right around the corner. The race raises awareness and funds for brain cancer research, and it all started in honor of our late news director, Jim Boyle. It's happening this Saturday, September 27th, kicking off at 8 a.m. at Providence Catholic School. Head to ksatcommunity.com to register and get more details. The Federal Trade Commission and state attorneys general are suing Ticketmaster and Live Nation, saying that they hide fees and let bots and brokers buy tickets to resell at huge markups. We spoke to a local book influencer who shares just how high a resale ticket can cost.
When you really want to go, you're going to do what you can. And I think I paid almost $250 probably for tickets that were maybe like $90. But I've seen, even in recent Lady Gaga tickets selling for thousands of dollars for being in the nosebleed seats.
In the lawsuit, the FTC says Live Nation and Ticketmaster have deceived artists and consumers by advertising lower ticket prices than what consumers pay and falsely claiming to impose strict limits on the number of tickets that someone can buy. Some good news for San Antonio travelers who want to head north. Air Canada will soon offer direct flights to Toronto. The first flight is expected to depart San Antonio International Airport next year on May 2nd. Air Canada will offer flights 3 times a week. Those days will be every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. This will be the airport's 10th international destination and the only one in Canada.
We're starting at 3 times weekly. Our discussions there are we want to get to 7 times daily. We want to go year round. So that's exactly where we want to take this service to.
Now, this is not the first time Air Canada has operated in San Antonio. Back in 2019, the airline ended a similar nonstop service to SAT. That lasted close to 2 years. Ballet Folklorico is a Mexican folk dance that showcases vibrant performances that tell a story. One local group has years of wisdom, and now they're passing it down to a group of elementary school students. Erica Hernandez joined Las Abuelitas de Oro as they practice with Los Rayitos del Sol from Hawthorne Academy.
Every movement has a meaning. The ladies of Las Abuelitas de Oro take pride in bringing the beauty of Ballet Folklorico to life, and it gives them a reason to keep moving. The women range in age from 72 to 86. Mary Cima de Villa and Dolores de Leon Savage, both 84, say for them it is so much more than just dancing.
Most of the times it is with the way we move, and we move our skirt, our feet, our hands.
My dancing has improved my hope. I would recommend that to everybody because we can't just sit there and do nothing.
And now the ladies are passing on their knowledge to the pre-K through 2nd grade group Los Rayitos del Sol from Hawthorne Academy.
And it's so much more than a flick of the skirt. They're teaching these kids so much more. Ready?
And the kids learn what the dances come from. They don't know the steps. They know the dances.
It's like a storytelling.
The partnership between the two groups is one of few in Texas that brings elders and young children together in an art-based program. The hope is for the beauty of Ballet Folklorico to be passed on for generations to come.
When we were growing up, it was very hard. But now that the culture has bloomed, especially here in San Antonio.
I like to keep the culture alive and hoping, dancing with the kids and passing on that tradition and our heritage has to stay alive.
Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Little update here on Wednesday's cool front. It's going to be a weak one, but it will drop afternoon high temperatures into the upper 80s by Friday. And then we will also see the humidity drop noticeably. So notice the upper 80s for the high temperatures. The morning lows will also take a little bit of a hit. We'll go from mid and upper 70s down into the mid 60s. So not a hard hitting front, but one that kind of gives us a little tease of fall. Or as I said when I was very poetic earlier today, a whisper of fall on the way. Humidity is going to drop by. It's late on Monday, right? And I do have an update on the tropics for you coming up in a little bit. We're watching a few areas. I'll have that in a few minutes.
Okay, we'll talk about that whisper of fall here in a minute. But first, a fish storm.
A fish storm, as they sometimes call it.
I like that.
Yeah, that's what the hurricanes that stay out to sea. But they do impact shipping lanes. So I want to point that out. It can impact trade a little bit, right? And so anyway, wait till you see the wave heights out there near Bermuda. Woo-wee. We have Hurricane Gabrielle, Category 4 hurricane, max sustained winds of 140 miles per hour. Didn't directly hit Bermuda. More than anything, Bermuda getting some big waves. I mean, surf's up, bruh, right? Going on out there, 9-foot waves, and that's just the estimates. I don't even know what they are as they curl up and they get closer to land as it gets shallower, probably higher than that. 25-foot waves east of Bermuda. I mean, this is a whopper of a hurricane. And that's going to be headed off to the northeast. Oh, hold on. Let me go back to this graphic. There we go. Or to the east more than anything, to the North Atlantic, generally to the northeast. It's going to slowly be weakening as it gets into the colder waters as well. So a fish storm, but also impacting shipping, of course. We're also watching two other areas of potential development, these two waves, one here way out in the central Atlantic and another one that's right near the Leeward Islands, a 50 and 80% chance of developing into another tropical cyclone. So something that we'll be watching in the days ahead. Never know. Sometimes they can sneak their way into the Gulf, so something to watch. 60% chance of showers, so scattered to almost widespread as we get into Wednesday. And then Wednesday night into Thursday morning, we could still see some of that activity. But more than anything, I think it's going to be the Wednesday evening commute impacted by the rain. And we're watching this cool front that's just working its way into the Texas Panhandle. It has some upper level support, a little trough in the upper levels moving our way. The front at sunrise, Edwards Plateau to Hill Country, that's where the rain would be. And then closer to the noon hour, give or take a bit, around San Antonio and surrounding areas, and then pressing southward. Again, just a subtle change in how it's going to feel outside. Now notice the rainfall potential. It's really going to be the typical situation where it's not equal opportunity. We could have some areas that pick up 1 to 2 inches of rain and others, maybe a 1/4 of an inch or less of rainfall. But where we get some of the heaviest downpours, there could be localized 2 inches or more, which could lead to street flooding. Quarter-size hail, the off chance of that, but odds aren't zero, okay? There is the off chance of that and even some gusty winds as we are right on the edge of severe potential, basically, as we get into Wednesday, particularly afternoon and evening. 77 in the morning, 90 at noon, 95 the high. So basically, tomorrow's going to be just like today. Bulverde 94, Bernie 95, Stinson 96, and near 100 closer to the Rio Grande, and in the typically warmer spots south down I-35. Notice the morning's back in the mid-60s by Friday into the weekend, and the humidity drops off as well by Thursday, lasting for several days. We got Myra after dark again, and she made it to 11:22. This was good. Yes.
Well, way to go.
Loved it.
You did it. Thanks for staying up late with us. We appreciate it. Have a good night. We'll see you in the morning.